This is QualityStocks. Today is Monday, June 13th, 2011, and today we're going to take a look at EGLE Bulk Shipping. This is a NASDAQ Global Select Company trading on ticker EGLE. So one we're just going to throw on the watch list. Very solid downtrend it's been in. Going to keep an eye on it for a possible bottom play. Fell through support last week, and I want to see if it's going to try and climb back over top of it this week. Take a quick look at the indicators. So we're seeing some signs of life here. The MACD trying to put together a slight uptrend. Still down very low. But again, we're looking at this as an early on bottom play. So we're going to pay attention to these histogram bars, see if they're going to bump back up a little bit, see if the 12 is going to bounce off the 26 EMA and try to continue that uptrend. Kind of a loose PPO ADX pinch. It's one of those cases where the PPO just doesn't seem to dip very low. You can see just around -8. But similar to the MACD, starting to try and trend back upward. Positive and negative DIs are in an okay position for a reversal. Still leaning towards the bearish side of things with this negative DI trending up. We'll pay attention to see if this negative DI is going to turn back down here in the near future. Again, here's another classic example. We talk about this all the time. You start to see this big separation. The 7 just pulling way away from the 14 and 21, and there comes the pullback. Big separation is typically not a good thing, but it has retraced, and in the overall grand scheme of things, looks like it's actually trying to make a little bit higher of a low. So the MFIs are actually in a pretty decent position at this point. Just a long-term downtrend in the accumulation distribution, kind of to be expected. Shaking money flow trying to make higher lows, but still down in the red. Selling pressure is still obviously dominant. It looks like it's trying to subside at least slightly over the last couple months. CCI, long-term scheme of things, definitely trying to trend back upward. We talk about this a lot of times with the upper half of the indicator. Here's another example of it. Can't make it through the zero line. It's just one more indication of the stock staying bearish. Good just technical indicator lesson right there. Full stow, not getting much from it. Clearly down the bottom area. Into oversold territory, but that just doesn't mean a whole lot. It can trend in oversold for a long period of time. Just going to keep an eye out for a bullish cross, perhaps even a slightly higher low, but just not getting too much from the full stow. Similarly with the tricks, just look for some long-term trend lines to be broken. Trying to get a little bit of an uptrend over the last couple weeks. Very slight signs of bullishness is all we're seeing from these indicators. Primarily, obviously, still bearish. This price per share was up near $6 a share not too long ago. All the way down around 250 now. RSIs, much like everything else, holding the lower half of the indicator, very bearish, trying to make some higher lows at this point. In a nice position with all three of them tucked together, though, and something to keep an eye on. What I'd look for here, undoubtedly that bottom support has to hold from last Friday. See, its low was 243. That's where I'd want to see it hold support at. If it falls through that, it would probably just be a walk away from it. Let it try once again to set up a little bit. So that would be the bottom support I'd be staring at. And I'd be looking forward to try and push back through this old support level right here, now resistance. See, this closed at the high of the day at 254 on Friday, pinned right against that resistance point. So these indicators that are trying to turn even slightly might take on a much more bullish look if it can continue some buying pressure and push through that resistance. Won't run into more until it gets up here near that old high at 294, and certainly a little stiffer right there at $3. If by some chance it does make the move and goes up here, climbs, makes a new high, then we might be looking at a true bottom and the very early beginning of a possible uptrend. If it goes up here, hits that 294 or even $3, pulls back down, holds this as support again at 250, again, that's another good sign. So this is one that goes on the watch list in the near term to see if it's going to put together a bounce, and in the longer term to see if it's going to put an end to this overall huge slide it's been on and mark 240 as a bottom and trying to trend upward from that point forward. As I mentioned, though, if it can't hold this support level, certainly not a good thing. There's a good chance these indicators are going to turn back down, go try and hit bottoms all over again. It'll take a little bit of time, perhaps, to try and set up again. But because of the close on Friday, even with the market getting beaten up the way that it did, EGLE actually had a pretty decent day. Volume stays pretty strong. See 850,000 shares traded. There's liquidity in it. Always trades consistently with a fair amount of volume. So it's worthy of throwing on radar to see how it performs. As always, it's merely my interpretation of the EGLE Bulk Shipping chart. This is Andy with QualityStocks. Thank you for watching, and trade smart.